Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's live broadcast. Tonight I'm going to be talking about how to start writing now. Before I get started, let me tell you a little bit about what to expect from this session. The two primary things I'm going to be talking about are how and where to get ideas, as well as I'm going to share tips with you on how to trigger your creativity. Now, before I get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, who I am, and a little bit about K-Writers. I believe most of you in the group are familiar with me, but I know, hi Michelle, not everybody is familiar, so I'm going to go ahead and just say I'm Elke Feuer. I'm an author, freelance writer, and an entrepreneur, and I also am the founder of K-Writers, and our mission, or my mission basically, is just to help writers on their writing journey. It's something that I'm passionate about, and one of the reasons why we're doing these training sessions tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. I know as writers, whether we're seasons or whether we're beginners, the biggest challenge that we have is where to get ideas. Oftentimes we're sitting down there, we're trying to get ideas for a blog, for a poem, for a screenplay, for a short story, whatever it is, and we're sitting there staring at the screen like, I have no idea what I'm going to write. So what I'm going to do tonight is to share with you some tips. The first tip I'm going to start with is where to get ideas. There's tons of information out there or places where you can get ideas, and hopefully a lot of these tips that I'll share with you tonight will help you to know, if you're struggling with where to get your ideas or how to get ideas, is where to find them. Some places where you can find ideas specifically are magazines and newspapers. I know that some people look online mostly, but I still like to look at magazines and newspapers. Sometimes a heading might catch or spark an idea, or a photograph within the magazine. So, print isn't all dead, and it's a great place to find ideas. Your favorite online industry site, which is kind of tied in with the whole magazine thing. Like if you love going to just trying to think now. I love going to various blog sites that I love. They have great articles, and a lot of times something within that article will spark an idea. So if there's special websites that you like to go and visit, just be aware and look for ideas in those places. Or if you're looking for an idea and that place is one of your favorite spots to go, why not go there to actually look for ideas? TV shows. And I'm not necessarily talking about Friends or Hi Kai, Friends, or real, whatever they call it now, true TV. I'm not a huge fan of that. Some people are, and if that's what sparks ideas for you, what do they say? Is it real life is better than fiction? And that is really the case. Like, for instance, for Deadly Bloodlines. Hi, Joey. For my book Deadly Bloodlines, I actually got the idea from watching a show on the Learning Channel, and they were doing a documentary about the children of serial killers. And I just thought, wow, what kind of life would it have been like to grow up as a child of a serial killer? Whether you knew or you didn't know, how would that impact your life? And boom, that sparked an idea. So I'm a huge believer, highly, of TV shows. Like, I love to watch those documentaries, those real true crime shows. I have so many ideas that I get from that. TV shows are a great wealth of information and ideas. Other authors. Now, I'm not saying that you go and you steal their ideas. That's not what I'm saying at all. But sometimes, like, your favorite authors might post something on their blog, or if you follow their newsletter, it might be something in there that will spark your own idea. So that is one way to get ideas as well too. On their social media sites, I know quite a few writers who post various things, whether it's blog posts, whether it's a project that they're working on or whatever, and it's actually sparked ideas for me or generated a blog post from a whole blog that they did, and there was one sentence in there, and I thought, oh, this would be a great topic to talk about on my own site. So looking at other authors, especially your favorite authors or authors in your similar genre, is a great place to get ideas as well too. SlideShare. I don't know if you're familiar with this or not. I used to go to their site a lot. I don't as much as I used to, but it's actually a really great site. Basically, what SlideShare is, it's sort of like, if you're familiar with PowerPoint presentations, it's similar to that, but it's doing it as a slideshow, basically. And they do everything from business to you name it, they do it. And it's also a great way a great place to go, that by looking through these various slideshows, and they're usually like 10 screens. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, but it might actually spark an idea, whether it's the topic itself or whether it's a topic within the main SlideShare. So the site for that is www.slideshare.net. It's also a great learning place to go learn to get ideas as well too, or not ideas, but learn information. That's what I used to go there for. Writing prompt journals. I see these in the store all the time, and they're basically these journals. I don't know if they've had them in Cayman. I haven't actually seen one there, but I'm sure it's something that you can order online or get the bookstore to order it for you. And they basically have, I've seen everything from 75 different writing prompts, and basically it's an entire journal, and one page in that journal has a writing prompt. How awesome is that? And these journals sometimes are as thick as this, and it's a prompt for every single day or once a week, however you want to use it. But that is amazing, especially if you're a writer that prefers to get an idea or get a sentence to help spark an idea rather than trying to come up with one on your own. So those are fantastic. Tied into writing journals are also writing websites, writing prompt websites. I know that Writer's Digest actually do one where you can actually sign up to get a daily writing prompt sent to you. I believe they also do a weekly one. How awesome is that? Open up your inbox or your mail, and then boom, you've got a writing prompt for the day. I mean, that's instant idea right there, right? The next thing I'm going to talk about is how to actually generate ideas. These are places, we just talked about places where you can actually go to find ideas. And then this segment is actually how to create or generate the ideas. Some of the things that I've done myself is think about childhood or past experiences. Is there something in your life that happened, whether it was happy, traumatic, emotional, that might actually be a great story idea, a great poem? Oh my gosh, that's where I got a lot of my poetry from. Really bad poetry, but poetry nonetheless, right? Words is better than no words, as I always say. So that's a great place to get ideas or to generate ideas. Also, you can do a character sketch of your favorite book or movie character. I've done that as well too. I'm a huge movie buff, and I always go to it like if I want to say, okay, I need a character, and I'll just sit there and sketch out what is it that I love best about this character in this book or in this movie. What are the traits that they have? How did they grow as a character? What was their journey like? And sometimes that will actually spark a character, or it will actually spark a story. You're basically just doing what I like to call a brain dump or a brainstorm, whichever way you want to look at it. Listen to your favorite music or new music. I'm a big believer in listening to music. Some writers find it distracting. For me, I have a very busy mind, so I find listening to music kind of occupies that part of my brain so that I can focus on writing. For some people, it actually gives you ideas. It can actually help to clear your mind or help your mind get distracted, like how I use it so that I can focus on writing. The lyrics, perhaps, or the melody might spark an idea, a character, an emotion, a thought. I mean, the opportunities are endless with music. People watching. I'm a huge, huge people watcher, almost to the point where I think some people thought I was stalking them. But you know what? That's what we do as writers. We love to observe life happening. And that's a great way to do it. I love to sit in the coffee shop and actually watch people walk in and just think, where are they coming from? What are they doing? Where are they going? What is that person's life like? And just sitting there with a journal and journaling it. I mean, how great is that? I mean, it's just, for me, I can't tell you how many story ideas I've gotten or how many characters I've gotten just sitting at the coffee shop and journaling down people that have walked in, and something about them that sparked something in me. I see some hearts going up. I'm sure some of you guys have done that too. And then tied in with people watching is listening to dialogue. That's fantastic. I've gotten character ideas from that as well too, as well as dialogue. And then just, something interesting that they said, and just, they said this, oh my gosh, why would a person say that? And just sort of spark a character or a story from that. That's also a great way to generate ideas as well too. So that's fantastic, Kai. I'm glad it's helpful. Just to add a tip for what I've said is to actually, it's all great coming up with all these ideas, and I think sometimes we have all these great ideas, but we don't always remember to write them down or to store them. So that is really, really, really important. I would recommend getting yourself a journal. I always have a journal in my handbag. I call it my idea journal. And whenever I get an idea for a story or a character or just anything, a blog post, I jot it down in there. Another thing that I use as well too is Evernote. Although some people use it for both. You can go in there, you can actually have an app on your computer, or sorry, not on your computer, on your phone. And it also links on your laptop as well too. So you can use Evernote, like if there's a great blog post or an article that you've seen, you can actually clip it and move it into Evernote. You can create all kinds of what they call sort of like notes. You can group them together. I use it for my processes and procedures. You can use it for tons of stuff. I've also used it for, like, if it's an idea that I want, or a blog post, you can actually use that Evernote. And like I said, you can have it as an app on your phone, and you can also use it on your computer. Also the journal, Michelle Reed says, oh, thanks for the journal, got it yesterday. Fantastic. I love journals. I've got journals coming out of the wazoos. You can never have too many journals as a writer, right? So I would definitely recommend that. If you're more, like I said, of a book person, keep a book. If you just want to have, I'm sure there's an app out there that will let you actually write down story ideas in there. I have a couple that I use that actually helps you how to develop a story, but I'm sure that there's note apps out there. If you want to keep things on your phone, you want to keep it with you. I know with guys, you don't really have a handbag, right? So your phone might be an idea. I've also used an app on your phone, voice, where you actually record your voice. I've been where I'm driving in the car and I'm like, oh my God, I've got this idea. And I've literally reached for my phone and pulled over to the side of the road and recorded the idea so that I don't lose it, right? So that's an option for you men out there that don't have handbags to carry around with you, and a journal to put in that handbag. The next thing I'm going to talk about is how to trigger your creativity. Sometimes it's just, you're just sitting there and you're just drawing a blank and nothing's happening. You've gone to all the websites, you've done everything you can, you've done the writing prompt, and it's just nothing's happening. It's just dry bone. You're just staring at that blank screen and that blank piece of paper and nothing's happening. So what I'm going to do is share some ideas with you on how to trigger your creativity. Writing prompts is a great thing, like I said, for writers who maybe just need a sentence to get them going. That's a great way to trigger your creativity. Writing in your journal daily. I used to do this when I was younger. I would just basically every day, what did I do today? What did I want to do? What adventure, if I could, go anywhere today, what would I do? Sometimes just that writing, what I call draining your creativity well, actually forces it to refill. Whereas when you ignore it, it dries up. Whereas if you're constantly writing, even if it's nonsense, it just keeps that creativity juice going. So that's a great thing, journaling daily. Reading different genre of books, like if you read the same genre of books all the time, like I've been notorious for doing this, and I'm just like, I'm writing a completely different type of book. Like I write romantic suspense, but my favorite to read is historical romance or historical fiction. Then a lot of times what I'll do is I will mix it up and read something completely different, and that really sparks just ideas, characters, just tons of stuff. It's just putting your mind in a different train of thought. I find that really helpful. Changing locations. Oh my gosh, I use this all the time. I usually sit here, but I also have a desk upstairs. It's just usually my husband's up there working and he likes to watch the news, and I find that really distracting. So I come down here and I work down here. Sometimes if I'm working here and I'm struggling, I go to the coffee shop, or I go to by the pool or somewhere else. Sometimes just going to a secluded spot if you want, something scenic, just getting out of your normal world or your normal element a lot of times is just what you need to spark your creativity and get it going again. Watching your favorite movie, or watching a new release, something maybe that you've been dying to watch. Sometimes you just need to do something different. And I love watching movies, and I find that just kind of clears my head and gets me away from the stress of thinking, oh, I need to write. And you've given yourself an hour and a half or 2 hour break, and sometimes that's just all you need to get your spark back. Read your favorite book. I have a collection of books that I used to, not so much now, but I used to read all the time that were just, I love the characters, I love the story, I love where it was set, and it just, it was like a warm, comfy blanket, and it just made me feel so good, and it was just an escape and a way for me to unwind and kind of just, and now I'm back, and I feel better, and I'm creative again. So just even that, something, reading your favorite book is just something as simple as that can really bring back that spark in your creativity. Go for a walk. Or for some people, it's exercising. Sometimes I hit the treadmill if I'm just like, you got to get that just frustration out. Going for a walk and exercise is a great way to do that as well too. Clear your head. Do something new creatively. I know a lot of writers who do this. They actually paint. I'm not a painter. You wouldn't want to see me painting, but that painting. Doing something that's completely different, pottery, sketching, just do something that's still creative but just different from writing, so that you're still working those creative juices, even though they're in a different way. Sometimes just using that outlet in that area will actually spark your writing. I have a friend of mine, she's an amazing painter. Actually, a couple of people I know that are amazing painters as well as writers, and when they're frustrated in one area, they go to the other. So they're kind of offsetting each other, and it really helps them to sort of get those juices flowing in a different area. Take pictures of landscapes, sunsets, structures, beaches. I used to love to do this, especially when I was writing a story and I wanted to get a feel of the scenery. I would walk with my camera and saying, oh, this would be a great set. Click, click, take the picture. Just looking at postcards and other photographs and just thinking what's happening in this picture and writing it down. What is the story saying? Or what is this picture? What is the story of this picture? Is another great idea. And doing that with your own photographs as well too is a great way to spark your creativity and just really get the juices flowing. So these I hope are some really helpful tips for you to spark your creativity when it just seems like it just doesn't want to budge. One tip to do with sparking your creativity, I would be aware of when are you most creative? When do you want to actually sit and write? We all have sort of certain times of the day that we're most productive or most creative, and I would suggest that you actually be aware of when those times are so that you can utilize them. That might not always be an option if you're working full time. That's why I used to carry a journal with me. Unless you've got a boss that's standing there watching over your shoulder, you could take 10 minutes, 15 minutes and use that time when you are most productive and creative to utilize that time to write and to create something. So I would really be aware of those times so that you can utilize them when they do come up and they don't go to waste. Okay. Any questions that anybody would like to know, perhaps about how to get started writing, or a question or a struggle that you might be going through that perhaps I can help with? Sometimes the delay on Facebook is a little bit slow, so I'll wait a few minutes and see if any questions come up. I'm going to take a drink of water here. If you haven't already, I'd encourage you to read the blog post on the K-Writers website, www.kwriters.com. There's some great tips there about writing, journaling. There's been quite a few people in the group that have actually contributed to the blog, other than myself, that have had some really great ideas. So I would recommend going on there as well too, finding blog posts that you enjoy reading that provide tips on some of the things that I've mentioned here, whether it's how to spark your creativity or how to help you to get ideas. I'm always looking at different ways, just so that you're staying on top of stuff. Kai writes, these are really good tips. I just need to get my time management when my kids aren't home sorted. Yeah, that is a tough one, Kai. I mean, I always say, oh, well, I put my kids to bed at an early bedtime and that's the time that I write. But that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody's kids go to bed on a set schedule. My kids are really good about that. So I'm very blessed in that regards. My son's sitting there giving me a thumbs up. But my kids are really good sleepers, so I'm blessed. I've actually, when I was still in Cayman, I would actually get up at 6 and go to the coffee shop on the days that my husband would drop the kids to school, and I would write for that time as well too. I would take my lunch time. So it's not easy. That is one of the things on my list, to how to create a writing schedule, Kai. So I'll make sure to message you so that you know when that's coming up. But time management is definitely a challenge. What I would recommend is looking at your own time and seeing where and how you can squeeze that time in. One of the biggest things that I do, and I still try to do, is that on a certain day, like Wednesdays are my writing days. Like I will go to the coffee shop when my husband gets home and he puts the kids to bed and do all that, and that is my time. Even though I'm still at home all day, I have that as my writing time. And sometimes you just have to say to your family, hey, look, this is my time, and you have to respect it. Because if they see that you're not being serious about it, then what's the incentive for them to respect it? So that's unfortunately what I've had to do in Cayman, and I still try to continue to do that here as well. So Kai, maybe just talk to your husband and check your schedule and see what's the best time that you can carve out for yourself to find that time to write. It's hard when you've got kids, I know. Michelle asks, are there any books on writing that you would recommend? I can't think of any off the top of my head. It really depends on what topic, what specifically you want to know. Like I know I haven't read it personally, but I've heard Stephen King's On Writing is supposedly really good. Save the Cat, I believe, is supposed to be good for screenwriters as well as authors. I believe, Michelle, if you go into the under files within the group, I believe it has some resources there on writing, or recommended writing books that either I've read or that people have recommended to me. I will actually make a note to write down, but maybe you could answer me this, is what you said books on writing. What specifically? Because writing covers a huge area. But I will make a note to because there's tons. There's tons of them. If it's how to get started writing, if that's what you mean, Michelle, I'll come up with a list. But I believe there's a short list in the group under files already. But like I said, I'll go through it and I'll update it because there's a lot of resources in there that need to be updated, because I've found lots of blogs, things like that I know that I've found that are really helpful for me. So yeah, I've heard people rave about it. Like I said, I haven't personally read it. But I have heard good things about it, and I believe it's kind of more sort of from an advice perspective. But I could be wrong, because like I said, I haven't read it, but I have heard good things about it. Any other questions? It doesn't have to be about the topic tonight. If you have, if you're here and you have a question, feel free to post it. And just while we're on the topic of questions, if you're watching the replay, and you'd like to post questions here, please do. I'm always coming back and I'll check and make sure that I answer them for you. So like I said, if you are watching the replay and you do have questions that you would like answers, please go ahead and put them in there. Michelle just said, I just downloaded an Audible book on self-publishing. Yeah, there's tons of great books out there on self-publishing. And if you are going to self-publish, the best thing to do is to really do your research, do the work, because even with all of that, because I did all of that and I still made a lot of mistakes, which you're going to do, but trust me, you'll make a hell of a lot more if you don't do the work first. And just some people have just nailed it and they got it, but most of the time there's a bit of trial and error. It's the industry and it's life, you know. You're always learning and having to learn new things by trial and error. I'm definitely a trial and error kind of person. Any other questions? All right, as I mentioned, please go check out the K-Writers website, www.kwriters.com. I'm still updating it. I'm still working out a few of the bugs, which I'm hoping to get resolved this weekend, because there's some great stuff, great new things, resources, things like that I want to try to add on the site for you guys. If you haven't been watching the Jumpstart Your Social Media series, the final session is tomorrow, and I'm hoping to have some extra, I'm hoping to have extra bonuses, but it just depends if I'm able to put together everything that I want to do. If I don't do it all by tonight, then it'll definitely, I have one ready. I'm hoping to have time to do more, but if not, I'll definitely include it and put it on the website for you guys. That hopefully will help make it easier, because it's really a long session. There's 7 in all. We've done 6. There's also blog posts on the website as well too that have the video as well as details about what's in the sessions. So if you haven't done that, please go ahead and take a look at it if you are interested in getting started on social media. And like I said, tomorrow is the last session. I'm excited and sad, but it's all good. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for those of you who have come in and joined. I really appreciate it. I hope that the tips tonight were really helpful for you and that will help to get you writing, because that's what we as writers are supposed to be doing. So thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you in the group. Bye.